Matt,
No,
welcome to Security Halt podcast, man. How you doing?
doing very well. Sitting here in snowy North Carolina.
Oh, nice, dude. I miss. I always talk about Bragg feeling more like home than where I grew up at. Just nostalgia hits the moment you get on Bragg Boulevard. Then it's quickly washed away when as soon as you see the typical bumps.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Oh yeah, but Wilmington, all that area, it's still really fun to remember all the shenanigans that went on there, man. Dude, I want to talk about your organization today, but before we dive in, dude, I want to hear about your background. Like, what got you into this?
Um, I mean, certainly, you know, I wouldn't have done it had I not been in the military. Um, so basically, like most guys that you've probably talked to, we all have a story of kind of getting lost,
Yeah,
having troubles, having pitfalls, and all that, and losing things in the process to the point where you got nothing else to think about.
yeah,
Sometimes, and my experience, I was going through, some rough times, not only personally with drinking, but was just battling a lot of things. Was in a marriage that was, had its bumps, but I basically would go out fishing, and I would just feel relieved, not necessarily healed, but just
yeah.
relieved. Um, and it did things for me in times of need that I can't put into words, but I just knew that there was other people out there like me. Um, and originally, the page started as a way to connect with other veterans around the country who find fishing therapeutic, or the outdoors for that matter.
Hmm.
Um, Having 100,000 plus on each, Facebook and Instagram, that was never anticipated. So it's certainly morphed into a lot more than I anticipated it being originally. But I'm trying to roll with the punches and be there in any capacity that I can.
Yeah, man. Life tends to give us a swift kick in the ass once we like transition, get out of the military, and it's kind of not to say that while we're in, we're not dealing with difficulties, but it's easier to neglect it, right? Like the mission's always first. Like you gotta put the man to mission first. Never mind your marriage that's falling apart. Never mind the kids that need more of you at home. Like it's easy to put all that stuff in the back burner because you've got all this shit to worry about. But then like when you get handed that DD-214 and they slap that disgruntled veteran sticker on the back bumper of your car,
Right.
everything kind of starts to trickle its way out, man. And you're
Uh,
right, dude. Like I identify with that. I can literally touch points in my past where it was either a friend of mine that was going through a rough time, and we were doing some night fishing and trying to just relax. And I look at some of the guys that are still in Northwest Florida. That I mean, it's a beautiful area.
Mhm.
But it's perfect for fishing. Like if you have nothing else to do, you can always go out and go fish.
It's tough
And
to
they,
be anywhere in Florida and not have access to good fish.
yeah, it really is. And even if you've never gotten into the sport in those areas, there's always somebody that will introduce you to fishing. Um, but I have to imagine like did that start at as a kid in childhood?
Yeah, so my earliest memories of fishing are with my dad. He did pass when I was 7 years old. He was in Vietnam in the army, and he basically was exposed to Agent Orange, like thousands
Mhm.
of other guys, and it got him quick. He was one of the first ones in the wave of people to get malignant melanoma and pass. So um, it took me a couple more years after that before I kind of picked up a rod again and started going fishing with friends. And up until the military, it was a huge hobby of mine.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't pick up a rod the entire time I was in the military, though, which is very weird because
Really?
I was stationed at Camp Pendleton, which I grew up in Maine, and I go to San Diego to be stationed, and it's like a whole new world for me. So, like, girls, partying, clubs, the beach, like, I wanted all of it.
Yeah.
So I definitely tried to do and see as many things as I could out there, but I would always go down to like Oceanside or whatever, and I'd see fishing boats out there, and I'd, little things would go off in my head, and I'd want to look into it, but none of the guys that I served with were really into it. So it wasn't until I got out, moved back to the East Coast, I moved to a place I'd never lived before, Hilton Head Island, South Carolina,
Oh, nice.
and I got back into it there, but it hadn't meant what it does to me now at that point, because I kept the party going when I got out of the military. And back in 2006, PTSD was not a thing that was labeled in anybody's record really appropriately. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
I had been through an alcohol rehabilitation program just prior to getting out, so it was clear that I had problems. But went to Hilton Head, partied for 4 or 5 more years, and it wasn't really until I had my daughter that those things kind of cleared up. Fast forward to 2010, and I didn't even quit until 10 years ago next month. But
Oh, wow.
Basically, fishing has always meant more to me than religion means to some people. And I know that's probably a comment that might trigger some folks, but it's just the best way that I can put it. It is my church. Not that I don't believe in God or anything like that. It's just I have a different way of getting in touch with myself.
Yeah. And how dare you have your own opinions and ways to approach life? How dare you, Matt?
It's a fun ride to have your own opinions.
You piece of shit.
I really am, man.
Yeah, man. It's we have to understand that everybody has their own approach, man. Everybody has their own way to find peace and solace. And being sober for somebody that had challenges with drinking is not easy. I've been sober. It's not because I had an addiction where I had to go in, like I had to go in for mental health, but I quickly realized that this thing is killing tons of people like me, and it's killing tons of veterans. And if I don't find myself like really like craving it or enjoying it, then why add it? But I've seen friends that have struggled with addiction, real addiction, white knuckling it, and then going through relapses and then realizing like, fuck, dude, like that is a beast. And if you can find anything that's healthy, whether it's, I've seen guys that flock towards running ultra marathons that, get really into gym life, and everybody has to find their own thing that helps them maintain accountability and gives them a peace of mind and helps them combat that urge. And I have to say, like, if it works for you, keep doing it. You're not hurting anybody. It's
Yeah. I mean, and if I'm being 100% blunt here, most of us veterans have addictive personalities.
Yep.
We have addictions to something, whether it's caffeine or whatever. But I was in a state where legalization had already happened.
Yeah.
I had grown up around that in Maine, and it changed my entire life once I quit alcohol and did that with the purpose of, looking at it from like a medicinal standpoint.
Oh yeah, marijuana. Yes, dude.
Yeah, I didn't know how, can I just be free will talking on here? Like
Bro, absolutely.
Okay.
We get a moment, check out the rest of the episodes.
I tried to spin up on them this morning. My mom raised me right and all that, but I also have my real side. But like weed saved my life. I will say that. Because when I quit drinking, all the dreams and thoughts and shit that I had pushed out for so long just came rushing back in. So initially it was helping with just basic shit like sleeping and things of that nature. But I used to just driving in a car to the store.
Yeah.
I used to guarantee come home mad because some idiot out in public, and there's lots of them these days, just make you go nuclear. And so I needed to find a way to not let that happen every single day. And that was what kept me from doing it a majority of the time. Not that I'm just running around everywhere I go, having to be, blazed all the time, but there is a certain level that
Yeah.
I got to be at to deal with people, and um,
And
that
there's
was a
nothing
big
wrong
big
with
step.
that. And that
No,
we have to, I think our current culture understands it a lot more. I think our GWAT veterans have done so much advocacy and normalizing and talking about healthy use of cannabis when it comes
yes,
to managing, data life stressors. Um, I talked about it at nauseum with a therapist at one time, because it's like, it's a great tool. It's a great medicine. And in my own journey, my own path, as an advocate, I didn't want to continue using it once I had overcome my insomnia. And fun fact, insomnia can come and go. I'm dealing with it right now. Um, but I stopped using marijuana because I was like, hey, I don't take Tylenol if I'm not in pain. So if I don't, because it wasn't so much as I needed it to deal with anxiety. I utilized mindfulness, meditation, daily prayer, breathing,
right.
and the medicine became a thing that I would take. My marijuana is something I would do at night to help going to sleep. And then I get over that insomnia and I'm like, I'm great. I don't need this anymore. So I no longer updated my medicinal marijuana card in Florida. And here I am, brand new baby, trying to get accustomed to her sleep schedule. And now it's like, I'm not sleeping.
Yeah.
I should have kept my card.
Definitely a good thing to have, in my opinion, in any state
Absolutely.
that's legal.
Yeah.
The thing that I joke with my drinking buddies about is like, that live in legal states. If I fly in to see you, if you fly in to see me, I got a bottle waiting for you, whatever. It will never happen in reverse.
Yeah.
It will never ever happen in reverse. So there's a tip for your drinking friends. We matter too.
Yeah, dude. I remember vividly a while back, out doing a veterans retreat, and me and my one friend, we're the only ones that we don't drink. We don't drink publicly, so everybody's out. We're having a dinner, and everybody's enjoying their drinks, and that's great. You enjoy it. You have a great time. Me and him were like, hey, we're gonna go outside, get some pressure. We're out there hitting up the pen, and it's just like, dude, this is way better for me.
Yeah.
Because alcohol is that thing that just kind of, if you never struggle with it, at least you can identify with the fact that you feel like shit the next day if you overindulge.
I
You
was
get to that
almost
point.
300 pounds.
No shit.
Yeah, I was up in the 280s just from being a professional
Drinker.
booze hound. Yeah, like
Fuck.
legit.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So I had to go cold turkey. I hit the gym for the next like 6 months. They knew me by first, middle, and last name at the gym, and I lived there and you know slowly introduced weed into my life, like back into my life, I should
Yeah.
say, in a different mindset. But like it's toxic, and it's like I thought it would get better with time. Become more educated. The drinking culture has just exploded even
Yeah.
more, like since COVID, and so I'm never going to win the war of saying this is better than this, but I can at least try to educate people as to either my experiences or, other stuff that's been done with veterans,
Yeah.
things of that nature to just help them see a different lens, because it's even with police officers, they know very little about it.
Yeah.
So,
And I don't feel like it's up to us to try to just shove facts in people's face. I think we just got to live a good life. And I think when you have a platform, when you're, open, when you have a podcast and you broadcast things on social media, I think it's just up to us to live and show what it is, the true reality of it. We're human beings that found something that's proven efficacy in helping you in so many different ways. It's not being abused. We're not using it as as a crutch. It's a positive in our lives when we use it. I think that does more for showing the truth of the situation than having to sit down and ram facts and constantly throw out a message. It's like just living a good life. and being willing to say, oh yeah, in addition to, being an awesome fisherman, I use this when I need to go to sleep, when I need to relax and unwind, versus having to down a bottle of Jameson. Because let me tell you, that helped me go to sleep for a long time.
Oh yeah.
And it got really easy.
Yeah, I mean, I bartended for many years too, and so just being present in that environment, all the time. When I wasn't working, I was at the bars with my friends. So it's just like, yeah, exactly like you're saying. I mean, I'm pretty quiet about the whole subject until I'm in a place where somebody's blanket statementing everybody that does that as potheads. That to me, that is a trigger for me. So but you're right. Yeah, just living your life by example, and finding happiness like however I can, and trying to just exude that to others has been a tough journey over the years. But I don't know. I've had a lot of people that I've met through here that I've become very close with, and it's been fun.
Yeah, man, it's enjoyable to see like-minded people come together and support something that you created. That's the enjoyable part. Like it makes the long nights and the long days like worthwhile. And when you first started to conceptualize this idea, like how did it start? How did you go from your own journey of going sober, getting better, into creating something that could be of relief and support for so many veterans?
I think I've always just tried to stay like true to who I am and where I come from. Again, being from Maine, it's a very normal, humble upbringing. You're not, at least where I'm from, racism didn't really exist. Like, granted, there was not a lot of minorities, but it just didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've just tried to stay away from politics, stay away from the trends as much as possible that gets me off course of, do I post a lot of nonsensical videos and memes and stuff like that? Yeah, the page wouldn't have grown without it. And I firmly believe that if you run a page for therapy, that humor's got to be included in that.
Oh yeah.
My bucket list is to do a open mic night at some point, just like joke wise, stand up comedy. Because ever since I've quit drinking, I'm an observer. I take guys and I'll drive them places, but I'll observe hard. And so it's basically, if it's pertinent to fishing, if it's pertinent to veterans, if it can help vets in any way, if it doesn't even relate to fishing, I try to share that out. If some new change is made at the VA, maybe a lot of guys haven't heard about it. So I do put a lot of videos out about things that are not so great at the VA, but why would I not do the opposite and tell both sides, So like, I really just try to insert myself in as many places as possible. And my DMs are really, I guess, I'm no more proud of anything else than I am the conversations that I've had over the years in my DMs. I've had messages where guys have admitted to me that had they not spoken to me X amount of hours prior, that they were going to take their own life. I've had that happen a few times, and that's just still to this day surreal to me.
Yeah. It's people kind of discount the reach and impact you have through social media, because while it is something that can be so negative and toxic, I've experienced the same thing. You don't know who's going to come across your videos, your memes, and it will resonate with them to the point where they'll reach out and maybe they'll share with you how it impacted them and made them change and do a complete 180 from what they were about to do. And I think that needs to be talked about a lot more. I think we need to understand that there's not only the reality of the situation. If you're creating content out there, it can be extremely draining and it can require a lot of man hours, but you can save somebody's life through something as simple as sharing a resource. and that
Absolutely.
needs to be celebrated. That needs to, and if you're out there and you're doing the same thing, like, we need you to continue doing it. Because I might not reach somebody and Matt might not reach somebody, but your message might reach somebody and it might stop them from doing something that it's a temporary, that is a, you know, a forever solution to something that's temporary.
Absolutely.
And it's just something that's it's extremely impactful. You get that DM from somebody that was about to do something horrendous, and you're like, holy shit, that was just a meme about the 82nd, about that was just a simple meme
Right.
or a single podcast. Like, that has a huge impact in our community. And I
And
don't think,
the things I said to him or those folks, you know, like, they were just regular conversation. I didn't even think twice about it.
yeah, yeah,
So, I mean, it's also just sharing the words of other veterans that have, you know, experiences like yours and other people that have been on podcasts. I'll use, you know, there's a guy named Ryan Caparis who
yeah,
runs The Reason Outdoors.
oh yeah, Coop, man,
Yep. So I just know of him over the last 6 months or so, and they're in North Carolina, not far from here. But he said on, I think it was on Urban Valor TV podcast, a lot of veterans have already died, but they just don't know it yet.
yeah,
War has already killed them, but they don't know it yet. And that quote, and I'm loosely quoting it here, but that just like shockwave, you know? And that is so true, that there's guys walking around that one incident is all it takes.
yeah,
And then that's the only incident that it takes for them to do what they were thinking about for years, or one incident on the other side to bring them back.
yep,
And it's that fine wire that we try to find guys that are located on that wire and get them the fuck off of it, quite frankly.
yeah. It's
So,
absolutely, it can be that drastic. But at the same time, we have to have hope too. Like, there's more veteran creators out there doing this type of outreach and putting this type of positivity out there, and that message needs to be amplified. We need to share it more, and you know, grow a community of like-minded individuals, as it's not just 22 a day. The numbers are larger, and sometimes what somebody needs is just humor to get them through that day.
absolutely.
It's literally the one thing that can connect, that connective tissue to getting you to at least open up, talk about it, bridge the gap to a mental health care resource, and then you can keep touch and reach out to that individual and see them on their journey. And you don't have to have a certification just to be a good human being. That's a
No.
thing that's missing too. We feel like, oh, I'm not certified. I'm like, dude, you're a good person. If you're a good person, just simply check in on somebody, check in on a brother or sister that may be
Absolutely.
in need. And that's the engagement. That's a good side of social media. We might not be in the same space, but we can reach through and check on somebody. And that's something that I've been able to witness firsthand throughout this whole journey, this experience of being able to get in front of a camera and just simply talk, hold space for somebody.
Yeah, I challenge any veteran out there that says there's not a resource for their need right now, and
Yeah,
I'm not sitting here saying that it's impossible, but there's more resources out there for us than there's ever been.
yeah.
I mean, there's over 3,000 fishing nonprofits for veterans in the country alone.
Wow.
Some of them are just one man shows that do stuff via word of mouth. You won't ever see them online, but there's that many people out there that are willing and ready to help. And I say this to veterans, you know, like, and it's probably been said before, but the first step is always theirs.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
got to be the pickup of the phone, the filling out of the form online, or whatever the nonprofit or whoever you're trying to go get, you know, a day with or whatever. And then the other thing that's an unpopular thing to say, but it needs to be said, is that the veterans as a whole, all of us need to understand that these services take a hell of a lot of efforts by people. And last year alone, we got just a disturbing amount of reports of no call, no shows, last minute cancellations, just across the board. And I don't want to paint the wrong picture that that's the whole community, but it's a rampant problem that needs to be addressed. You know, if
Yeah.
you sign up for a service for a spot with any nonprofit that does anything for vets, you need to honor that spot, or, you know, be an adult and cancel it like you would a doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
So it's there's a lot of resources, a lot of people ready to help. You know, you just gotta be willing to look for it and reach out to people like myself or whoever else that might be able to point you in the right direction.
Yeah. That's, I've seen that. I've actually seen that with friends trying to connect them with resources, the last minute bailout. Um, they I don't know. I can identify it with my own experience, like the hesitancy there and the inability to take action and like just Google a resource. I couldn't do that for myself. And I don't understand to this day why it was so hard to just be vulnerable and ask. It was literally like, it was the hardest thing on earth just to fucking open up to somebody and honestly be completely vulnerable and truthful to a mental health professional instead of just bullshitting like I had been for quite some time. It was like that one moment of vulnerability allowed me to get so much help, but it literally took everything I had to say the truth, speak the absolute fucking truth that I needed help.
I agree.
And I think so many guys, maybe they have a good friend that gets them connected to that fishing nonprofit, and they get everything laid up. It's like, okay, all right, you're gonna be here tomorrow morning, and then that morning comes, and they're like, nah, fuck that, no, I can't. It's like it's that embarrassment.
There is a lot to be said about that right there, 100%. I'm the guy that runs the page. It's called Veterans Fishing, yet I've only been on a handful of trips, and when I'm on the trips, the first hour or two, I'm hoodie up, minding my business.
Yeah.
You know, people think that I'm just going to be like, hey, Mr. Veterans Fishing. Like, it's not that. I struggled just like everybody else.
Yeah. Matt, I identify with that so fucking much, and I'll tell you why. You do a lot of great content showing your face on Instagram, and I commend you for that. And I'll be 100% transparent and honest. I do about 4 or 5 episodes record a week, sometimes more, trying to get as much as I can. That way I can produce post-production on my own, not worry about having to constantly get, guess, try to get as much so I can just process as I can. But when it comes time to do short form content and get myself in front of that cell phone, I fucking hate it. I absolutely fucking hate it.
People think I love
it. It's one thing to post a meme. It's one thing to show and be authentic in this camera because I'm having a conversation with Matt. I'm in the moment. I'm present. But when I'm looking at that cell phone, I'm just recording into the abyss. I'm just recording, and then I'll have to trim it, and then I'll have to edit it, and then I'll have to post it. And I'm not talking or engaging with anybody. I mean, you will, the consumer, on the other end, on the reels, you'll see it. And if it identifies with you, maybe it'll get likes, maybe it'll get thrown into the algorithm. But it's not as easy as sitting here talking with Matt, somebody that I can identify, sees me, and understands the things, what I'm going through in hesitancy of wanting to connect. You're experiencing the same thing. It's an authentic moment here. I don't get that from holding a phone. And I don't want you to see my face in those moments. I don't want to show you my home. I don't want you to know intimate, true details of a day in the life. I don't.
I mean, if anyone ever had the time or desire to cruise through all the way back to the beginning, my entire mannerisms were different, because I had to become comfortable just accepting the fact that what I'm doing when I post a video is, like anybody else, is delivering a digital product for consumption,
Yeah.
And this is not that. Like, this is something different. At the end, that's what it's going to be. But like at this very moment, this is different to me than just being like a reaction to some jackass video. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Everybody, I always get hounded. It's like, why don't you do some more like talking videos? I'm like, well, the reality is, I'm a different person. I'm not. I'm this is a Denny in a moment talking with another veteran. Like, this is engaging. This is fun. This is vital for me in my day-to-day life. But
Agreed.
this is not something that transfers over when it's just me holding a cell phone. It's a whole different thing. And in your journey, like, how, I have to imagine it's just reps, but how was it for you when you were like, okay, I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to put my foot down. I'm going to engage.
When I got fired from the very last job that I've had, I was working for a company, I won't name it obviously, but it was residential construction, very big nationwide company, and they had very stringent things that they expected. And my job was to go and inspect certain jobs and measure windows and doors and make sure everything was correctly ordered and entered, and very low margin for error
Yeah.
acceptance. So I had a bad week, and that was that. And within that same week, I got my disability approved and my back pay for like many years. So I was like, do I want to try doing this? Because now I have a source of income essentially that I didn't have yesterday.
Yep.
And it wasn't really like I'm going to do this as a job or I'm going to try to make money off of this. I was just like, now I have a lot more freedom to do this way more than I wanted to previously. And around the same times when I started thinking about like doing merch, hats and t-shirts and things like that, because I wanted to help fund the whole effort
Yeah.
of fishing trips anywhere and everywhere. Early on, started talking to another Marine who goes by DWCC. He used to go by Dixie Wrecked Clothing. He changed his name, but his name is Doug.
Yes.
You should reach out to him. He'd be a good guy to have on. But he's kind of the West Coast version of me plus
Yeah.
some. He runs his own trips as well as does a lot of philanthropy and things like that. But I've basically been down with him since the rip, and we've been bouncing ideas off each other. We've done, cohesive posts and fundraisers together, and share each other's stuff. And it's just like it's just the constant effort of trying to be a funding source for, I'm going to be honest, nonprofit founders for the most part that are involved in fishing. We touched on this in the beginning. They are horrible with social media. They're horrible with that sort of, and they admit it. But how do you bring attention to these organizations that are here, willing and ready, have boats with gas in them, ready to take bets out? How do we get the word out? And so, the more people I talked to in the messenger, the more I knew I just wanted to kind of be like on call dude that people go to for this reason, like Travago of fishing. Like I'm Joe Schmo in, Omaha, Nebraska, and I can't find anything. Can you try to help me link up with some people? And I've done that over and over and over again. I haven't always had success because there are guys that live in bumfuck middle of nowhere. So at the very least, what I will try to do is hook them up with another veteran that lives somewhat of close distance to them that they can at least link up and throw a few casts together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, this is about like-minded people sharing something that helps them.
Yeah.
And there are organizations that do massive events. Some of them cost, probably tens of thousands of dollars. And they're amazing events, but they only do 1, 2, maybe 3 a year. So there's a lot of messages that I get where that veteran's like, man, I'm in a rough spot. I'd love to be able to go out. And you kind of want to get them on a boat like soon.
Yeah.
But then you have to have another conversation. Like, is this person even ready to be on a boat? Like, are they in that space where they're going to be able to handle that? And so if I've ever had any doubt, I'll certainly say, I think you should maybe just try, conventional therapy first for a moment before diving into this. But at the end of the day, I'm not a fucking doctor. I don't know shit. You know, I'm not like, I just, feel like I have a good moral compass,
Yeah.
and I try to just answer every message. That's literally what I try to do. Even if
Yeah.
it's hate. I've got a lot of hate messages too.
Oh fuck, dude. Yeah, man. Like, let's talk about this for a few seconds. The
Sure.
amount of fucking negativity for just wanting to do good for people, just wanting to put some good content out there. There are some people that will still hate on you.
I've had my life threatened in the
What?
comments. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Whoa,
Um,
what the fuck?
it's and it's not like I don't consider them like any sort of like real threat, but like I've come to understand what the average troll is,
Yeah.
because I have certain friends that are that, and they're very open about their trollness and the reactions that they look for out of people. And
It's
it,
it's a hobby now. It's literally a hobby.
it like degeneracy is in, and you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I'll give an example of that. During college football national championship, they
Yeah.
were doing college game day, Notre Dame, Ohio, and there was a guy sitting with a sign right behind the sportscasters, and it said his Cash App name, and it said, "I'm running low on beer, please help." That man was sent millions of dollars.
Wow.
I can't sell 100 hats in a year to raise money to send veterans out on fishing trips. So that's where I try to like show the stark obviousness of where we're at with this society,
Yeah.
you know, and just be like, hey guys, I'm selling these new hats, you know, I'm just trying to help out. Like,
Yeah.
but when I put memes out that go ballistic, you know, I've had videos in the 60 million view range that's gonna hit everybody that's a psychopath out there at some point. And so I get messages mostly on Facebook. A lot of them are on Facebook,
Yeah.
that are just pure hate for no reason. And the very few that I have responded to has just been with killing them with so much kindness that they have to be infuriated.
Yeah. That's the approach I take,
Yeah.
which is it I kind of get enjoyment out of it, just
Oh
like
yeah. I
completely.
troll in reverse. Absolutely.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know how to treat this. You're coming at me so kind. I always come at it from the angles, hey man, you need support. Here are some resources that can help you. If you need anything else, like it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, hey man, like how can advocating for mental health and resources really anger you? Like,
Yeah, and that line right there leads into the hate of veterans that I've gotten.
yeah,
Like, you're not doing enough. Like, why aren't you here, here, and here? Dude, I don't have to be here at all.
yeah,
Like, if we're being honest, you know, I run an LLC that gives all the money away. And you know what? Every tax preparer that I've shown that to is like, you shouldn't be doing this. Like,
Matt, I don't understand your strategy.
right. They're like, you should be a nonprofit. Well, I have a certain feeling about how nonprofits operate from a
Yeah,
general standpoint. And I feel like there are billions of dollars that get donated every year that go in the people that run them's pockets. And again, I'm not blanket statementing the nonprofit organization world, but there are there's lots of money that never sees the cause that's being advertised. That's the easiest way I can say it. And I don't want to have to put a board together to decide, you know, where money's going. Because sometimes it's a fundraiser that gets put together last minute for some vet that may have been in a car accident or wife just died, or
yeah,
you don't need a meeting to figure out, oh, let's raise money for this person.
yep,
Yes, I pay taxes on everything that comes in, and it's not a great business model, and I'm working on that. But
yeah.
it's been operated, in my opinion, with higher contribution than most nonprofits that
Yep.
exist. So
I feel you on that, Matt. I feel you on that. Like, I feel like I'm finally being seen, because it's the same thing. It's like people are always like, taxes are one of the things that I go through, and it's like, hey man, like I'm a dog shit entrepreneur just building this thing one poop and cum joke meme at a time, man. And it's it's the true enjoyment and the true pleasure are the messages from people who found their way to treatment, who found their way to a treatment resource that I highlighted that they had never heard of. So yes, monetarily speaking, I am not rich or wealthy by any means, but in feeling good because I'm doing good things, I'm doing well.
I'm wealthy as hell. Yeah.
And that's the reality, man. Like, oh, hey, I could be bitter, or I could try to sell and promote something that I'm not 100% back. Like, but the reality is, like, no, the true mission is
We
helping
can't
one
buy
person.
jet skis with our emotional wealth, but we can certainly sleep at night, you know?
That's right. And I shout out to Rain Energy Drink. No.
I was trying to hide my Gatorade label because I'm not sponsored.
Oh man, that'd be hilarious. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, promotionally and sponsorship wise, the money may not be there, but you build something that's authentic, you build something that's true, and you format it to get better and better each and every time, and the right partnerships will present themselves. And I 100% believe in that. And yeah, I hustle my ass off producing every different podcast that I can get myself onto, and work on the backside doing everything I can, and go to school full time. And that's just the reality. If you love something so much and you're willing to do it the best of your ability and improve on it every single day, and you're borderline unhealthy about
Yeah.
it will turn into something that's worthwhile.
Absolutely.
When that happens, I don't know.
Someday it's coming.
There will be a payday.
I firmly believe that, or else there's just something going on wrong.
Oh man. Man, I can't thank you enough for being here today. Tell us, before I let you go, man, tell us about your organization. Tell us what you do and where people can get a hold of you.
So right now, you can find us basically anywhere on social media. I have a TikTok and I have a YouTube. It's not nearly as shiny and polished as the Instagram and the Facebook stuff, but um, yeah, we have a website, veteransfishing.com. It's currently it's being completely redone by me,
Nice.
um, and we'll be back up in a week or so. But for anybody that's been kind of privy to my posts every day for the last like 6 months, like if you know me, you know that Western North Carolina has been a big focus of mine. And I'm kind of doing this last minute plug because I feel that those people, for the most part, have been forgotten
Yeah.
by their government, and I don't think that's a secret anymore. Um, Average citizens have continued to help them, but uh, because there's been no fishing trips, because it's snowing everywhere, that's where the majority of any funds that have come in have been directed. It's not a lot, but it's still, we want to try to continue to help them in addition to the fishing stuff. So,
Yeah. Are you doing do you have an open fundraising going on for them, or
so right
how
now
can we contribute?
we have a tournament going on right now. This tournament is going to be fundraising for a veterans fishing nonprofit that I announced the day of the tournament beginning. But they're in South Carolina. They're going to get half of the money. Um, what I've been trying to message ever since the hurricane has hit is that any money that comes into our PayPal, to our Venmo, to our Cash App, 100% of that include, like, so when you send $50 to somebody on PayPal is going to take a couple bucks of that, and then that business is left with the remainder. I'm filling that back up to your full $50 donation and passing it on to where we've been sending
Holy
it.
cow.
Which, like, in the beginning we were getting a lot more donations. Ever since like the fires in LA, it's like completely stopped.
Yeah.
But there's like a Mountain River Family Campground is one in Spruce Pine, North Carolina, that you're talking a 60+ site campground that was completely wiped off the map. That's just one of 1,000 stories. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
whenever we get to a point with anybody that's like, oh, we're all set, I guarantee it's not going to be hard to find someone else. So we want to just continue. Anybody that wants to keep donating to that, just know that we're trying to remain in contact with those people and constantly assess the needs of what's needed out there still to this day. And it's snowing and it's freezing cold, so they can use all the help.
Hell yeah. A link to that will be in episode description. So go ahead and pause right now. Take a look at there. I'll wait. All right, you're back. Thank you for contributing. I know you did. And if you didn't, I understand money might be tight, but 1st and 15th, if you're active duty, I know you get paid. So just maybe squirrel away a little bit of money, help out our people from North Carolina. They need our help. It's, you know, it's something that is important for all of us to focus on, which is charity, gratitude for, you know, being here, being alive, having another day, but also being able to, you know, offer something, just a few bucks, whatever you got, help out our neighbors. Matt, thank you so much for being here, man. It is absolute pleasure. Yeah, it was a absolute blast to have you on, and I can't wait to bring you back on to talk about life and fishing, man, because that's something that I think everybody needs to have a little bit of an introduction to, is being out in peaceful water and, you know, casting a line or two, even if it's fly fishing. Won't bust your balls too much. Fucking river runs through it. The geeks.
I have a field day with them. I still love y'all. My dad was a fly fisherman.
So I grew up in Colorado. I can fly fish, but I'd rather bait cast. I even though I'm a dog shit saltwater fisherman, it's still like, dude, paddleboard fishing is fucking amazing. You could spend.
I've never done that, so I'd love to schedule that sometime with you, man.
Bro, let me tell you. Next time we get on the show, let's coordinate this. Let's coordinate some efforts in getting Boat Paddleboard to sponsor the show and a fishing tournament, because nothing's better than fishing off a paddleboard in Northwest Florida. I don't care if you catch nothing. You're going to come back. You're going to be fucking ecstatic. You see wildlife everywhere.
I can imagine it's a very intimate experience.
Dude, it is one of the best things out there for you. It's so much fun. Yeah, you don't have to catch anything. That's the key. You go super early, paddle out to Crab Island, and just fish all morning long before the crazy people get out there and come back home. And yeah, it's like having a little mini adventure every weekend. So if you're out in Northwest Florida, get yourself a paddleboard, get out in the water and fish. And if you need some help finding resources where to fish, check out Matt's website and follow him on social media. Again, those links will be on the episode description. Thank you all for tuning in. I absolutely love knowing that you guys are checking us out and going to our Instagram and helping us grow there. But if I could ask you to do one thing before I let you go to Apple Podcasts, go to Spotify, leave us a review, give us 5 stars. That way we can continue growing and advocating for great resources for veterans and having great people like Matt on the show. Thanks again for being here. Appreciate you all for listening. See you all next time. Till then, take care.